Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This time I'm going to show you how to complete the shrine quest, the Necluda Sky Crystal, and create the Kumamayn shrine for a Roru's Blessing style shrine. Okay, so we're going to begin at the Rebello Wetlands Skyview Tower, and then we're going to blast ourselves up and then float over to a platform, or a sky island that has a spring box on it. Spring boxes are basically the answer to everything in this challenge once you defeat the boss. So it's really just about using a springboard, when you find it, and you should be okay. So we are going to travel to the east over here, and then if you have Tulin, you can go ahead and use him. However, if you are short on stamina, you can just sort of island hop using the spring boxes that are on all the islands. But for the most part, we are just going to glide over to this one over here, this very small Zonai platform that has a spring box on it, and then we will be able to sort of lift ourselves off to the main island. Now, something that I recommend for this is activate the shrine. This way you get the warp point. If you don't do that and you end up dropping the crystal or somehow falling off, you're going to have to do all the platforming over again. So I always recommend activating the shrine once you get to it to make things a little bit easier on yourself. And believe me, dropping this crystal is not hard. So go ahead and float over here, and then if you'd like, activate the shrine. It's this ring right here, and even though the shrine isn't created, you can still activate it and get the warp point. All right, so once you're ready, you want to start heading across the rest of the island, and then we are going to have to fight the Flux construct boss that is located on the northern island. It's not a difficult boss. It is a level 3 Flux construct, and if you've never fought these before, I will happily explain how to fight them. But if you already have, then just go ahead and check the description for timestamps for when we are done. Okay, you'll notice that these islands are separated, so you want to just jump over, and then you will also notice that there is a funny-looking contraption here with a spring box attached to it. We'll get to that later. That's going to allow us to get the crystal back to the shrine. Quick tip, you don't actually have to fight this Flux construct. All you got to do is break it apart at least once. That will cause the crystal to drop, and then if you'd like, you can just take the crystal and run. I don't always recommend that just because Flux constructs can teleport, and they can really mess you up and knock you off the island, and they drop a really, really useful core that you can then fuse to a weapon. All right, so once you are fighting the Flux construct, what you want to do is you want to find the core box, which is this funny looking one here, and you want to ultra hand it and then just pull it out. You do sort of have to fight with it, but just hold the ultra hand either left or right, and then you'll be able to pull it out. Once that happens, the construct fully breaks apart, the core is exposed, and then you just want to deal damage to the core. For this phase here, what we want to do is we want to get on top of one of these boxes and then use recall, and then that will bring us back up. You do want to watch out for the boxes, though, because as you saw there, they are technically projectiles as they are falling and will deal a healthy amount of damage to you. Give the core 1 or 2 whacks and it should break apart, and then you just float down. Then you want to start dealing some more damage to it. I always recommend having a few weapons available for these things, especially level 3s, because they can last a while. When the core is down, you can do pretty long charge attacks. I just sort of messed up there because I wasn't confident in the weapon that I was using. For this cube phase, I do recommend trying to stand at a decent distance, but you have the same exact concept. You want to try to find the core and yank it out. I didn't really let it get the chance to do so, but that cube can lift itself and then attempt to slam down on you. So you don't want to mess around with the ultra hand for too long. If you're not getting it, just kind of wait a second and then move on, and then try to get it the next time. That cube can be very, very surprisingly deadly. So I don't recommend messing around with it too much, but you do need to start going for it. Otherwise, it will stay in the cube form forever, and it just takes a while. Shooting it with arrows is not super effective. It'll stun it, but you're really just looking for that ultra hand. You'll notice here that I can't seem to find the core or get a grip on it. Somehow I got it there. I don't understand that. But what you can do is you can pull out other cubes, and they will not necessarily break the boss open, but it will expose more areas for you to try to grab the core. So if you're having a difficult time for whatever reason like I was, try to go that route. This way you can see the core more often. All right, go ahead and fuse the core to a weapon. Doesn't matter what weapon it is, whatever you got, it's just so useful. It's plus 32 to any weapon, so even if it's a corroded weapon and you're only going to get like 10 or 15 hits out of it, it's still worth it in my opinion. All right, once the boss is down, you want to then grab the crystal and bring it over to the funny-looking spring box contraption that you saw earlier. What we need to do with this spring box contraption is we need to pitch it on a 45-degree angle and then shoot the crystal over, and then after that, shoot ourselves over. Now, you may be wondering, how am I going to pitch something like this on a 45-degree angle? Well, if you haven't seen it before, there's actually a spike attached to this sort of contraption here, and what we need to do is we need to just rotate it. This way, the spring boxes are facing this direction, and then we're going to take the spike and just sort of lay it in the ground. And when we do that using the Ultra Hand, it will automatically seep into the floor, and then you don't even have to hit attach. You can just press B to let go of the Ultra Hand, and the spike will sort of melt into the floor and keep it there. This thing will not move. So the spikes are a little funny in this game, but that's the way they work. All right, so once you're ready, just go ahead and hit it, and then you'll be able to launch the crystal over, and now it's time to launch yourself. Climbing these things can be a little weird. However, even though this is a 45-degree angle, for whatever reason, Link is still able to climb it. And then you just want to launch yourself over, float over, and then just bring this crystal back to the shrine. The shrine gets created, and like I mentioned earlier, this is a Roru's Blessing style shrine, so there's no additional challenge associated with this one. You just go in, get your treasure, get your light blessing, and you're done. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel monetarily, you can do so by becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. The links for those are in the description below. As always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.